How you guys doing? Syncweaver in the flesh, Final Fantasy lore extraordinaire. If I've made a video in the past year, which I did not, but don't ask about that. Don't ask why I am sweating all over the place, and don't ask why I don't turn on a fan or an air conditioner, because I need you guys to hear me and not the air conditioner. Anyway, we've just gone through a fan fest, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. I myself sat here in this room, watched it on a live stream. I saw the keynotes, I saw the live letter, and I, had a good time watching what I saw. But it did allow me to brainstorm for a good hours on what is going to be the theme for the Allied raids, and only on the Allied raids. I'm not going to think about the story. I'm not going to try to make a hypothesis on where the Warrior of Light is going to go with all this. I'm willing to wait more on the main story, but the Alliance raids, that right there, we need to talk. We need to talk about that. Now, for those of you who haven't noticed that there are a lot of plants and that there's an island motif for this new expansion, Dawntrails has a lot of plants and it has an island motif. Okay, we're going to establish that right now because I need to tell you as soon as possible that this all just spells out Final Fantasy X. This is just Final Fantasy X in the expansion at this point. We already have the island motif, we already have the building structures that look kind of like the buildings from Final Fantasy X, and not only that, but the Pelu Pelu, who are people from Final Fantasy X, are part of the Beast tribe, I guess. They're people that are in Final Fantasy XIV in Dawntrail. They're going to be introduced in this expansion, and if you guys don't know, the Pelu Pelu are from Final Fantasy X and X-2. They are a race or a sect of people, a clan of people. They're just humans, honestly, that are just wearing masks, and they just are a little short. But they are there. That means that 14 has something to do with Final Fantasy X. Now, for you youngins out there that have no idea what a Final Fantasy X is, please get the HD edition of 10. You can get it on PlayStation 4, on the PlayStation 5, please get it. It's a good game. It's turn-based, but it's still a good game. Now, for those of you who need a reminder, Final Fantasy X has you in the world of Spira. You play as the character Tidus, who, as an American, has been calling him Titus for years until I played Kingdom Hearts and they said his name was Tidus. That blew my mind that day. But you play as Tidus, and he is a blitzball star. He is really good at what he does, and he is very famous. His entire city gets attacked by a giant water bubble, giant monster called Sin. And the person who's been looking after him, Auron, comes up and says, "Hey, bro, guess what? I'm going to take you to another world." And Tidus was like, oh shit. And thus he is whisked away to Spira, which he saw was like the future. Right? There's a whole entire story as to why that is, why he was whisked to the future, and I'm saying future because for those of you who do know, you know. He gets whisked into a place called Spira, and Spira is in its own little problem, has its own little problem, but about Spira, it's a place that has many islands, and you're going to have a huge island motif as you're playing the game. You're going to have a huge nature motif, you're also going to have a huge spiritual religious culture that's going on here. People don't use a lot of machinery. They think it's a taboo because it's not part of their religion. They follow a certain religion that disallows them to use technology, thus the reason why they're in this stagnant state of using huts, of only having one big city that has the only stadium in the world that plays blitzball. Rip blitzball, we're not getting it in 14. But a lot of that I see in this new expansion just from looking at the screenshots, and it just amazes me that we're now at this point where it's like, hey look, Final Fantasy X is finally here, even though we've had Ixion, which is one of the Aeons in 10, which we got as a horse and a fate boss in Stormblood, if I am correct. We also had another Aeon from Final Fantasy X that is a boss, an end boss in a dungeon in Endwalker. So you have to think about it, they've been pulling Final Fantasy X things every now and then anyway. But now they're just hard focusing on it. The island, the culture, the spiritualism, and I'm pretty sure with the Pelu Pelu there, we're going to get more Aeons. We're probably going to get Sin. I'm kind of excited for the allied raids, and I hope it doesn't disappoint, because if we get a more of a Final Fantasy X theme, this gives me an excuse to pull my best friend in, but also Sin. We get to fight Sin. If anything, we're fighting the other Aeons as well, and I think that's going to be kind of cool. The other thing is that I can't wait to see the other areas that is within this continent, because like I said, I love the island motif of Final Fantasy X. I also love the different areas, the different sections that you get to go to. Those are pretty beautiful for a PlayStation 2 game, and I loved every moment of it. I love Final Fantasy X, but the fact that we get to have it in Final Fantasy XIV now kind of gets me excited, and if they're going to keep the motif of Sin, the culture that they have, the spiritualism, and hey, they can have their own thing. This is a new world that we're going into, so this is a new place, and they could have something similar. The Pelu Pelu is going to be there. Hell, the Hrothgar may originate from there. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Hrothgar came from somewhere else. I don't know. But you know, in Final Fantasy X, they do have Hrothgar, but they're not called Hrothgar, they're called the Ronso. So, point is, I'm kind of excited for Final Fantasy XIV's new expansion, Dawntrail, and I hope a lot of the Final Fantasy X motif is coming in here, and I hope that the Allied raid is going to feature maybe the Aeons and have it all capped out with Sin. That would be amazing. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you haven't liked the video, please like. That would be a tip for me. And if you want to really give me my cash cow, subscribe, and that will be kind of like payment for me. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you guys in future videos, and I hope to see more people playing Final Fantasy XIV, knowing that people from Microsoft, people who have an Xbox, are going to be playing now. Oh boy.